they have the luxury of doing multiple jobs, like multiple roles, and everybody's fine. Like you're solving problems. That's interesting. That is theoretical. The real part of it that people never talk about is the amount of documentations you would have to write. Hey loves, welcome to my channel. It's your girl, of course, Chiamaka Okebo. If you're new here, like you're just stumbling on my channel, you're very much welcome. Please take a seat, enjoy, and relax. Now, if you're a returning subscriber, okay. So in today's video, guys, we're going to be talking about tech jobs, like breaking into tech, getting a tech jobs that do not require you to know how to code. And I'm going to try to demystify some things that are out there or that I have seen out there, right? That people usually say. Okay, so first of all, it's not easy breaking into tech. Let me just tell you. So even with all the courses you do and all of that, they will still require to have some sort of experience, to have done some sort of internship. And that's a problem that most people face because come on, nobody wants to take you if you don't have experience, right? They want you to have done some sort of thing, even if it's in an informal setting, anything at all. And the worst part is that most fields actually seem saturated. Like it seems like there are just a lot of people into it. Everybody wants to break into tech. But yeah, we're talking about some that do not require you to have computer science degree. They do not require you to know how to code. They do not require you to be a software developer, yeah, in your former life. But know this, that the requirements differ from company to company, from team to team. So in certain companies this could require you to know how to code, but generally speaking, these roles do not. So there's a tech side to most of these roles, right? And these roles are usually close to software developers. It's just easy to communicate with them if you understand what you're doing. But we're just going to start now. Yeah, so I just want to put that disclaimer out there, give that background. Now, the first on my list will be product management. So just walk with me, right? Product manager, product owner, and all of that. What do these people do? Hmm. So I'm going to put this in a very lay term, right? And I hope that trying to put it in a lay term, I do not take out the actual meaning of what they are. But yeah, I want to try to explain to somebody who's just getting out of school and you're trying to find your feet. They say tech, 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 and you're like, where should I even start from? That's what this video is for, right? So there will be more to what I'm saying. So product management is let me use WhatsApp for example. So you have WhatsApp. Somebody decides that, oh, at this phase, at a benchmark, what's WhatsApp for? We want to build a communication tool or something where users can chat with people via their phone numbers. So it's not messages, right? It's an app that you can sign on using your phone number and people can chat to you, blah 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 blah. Somebody decides that, oh, what will this app do? I can chat people, we can create a group, we can I can call the person on an audio call, on a video call. Now, all of these features would have been prioritized, right? They won't do all of them at the same time. That is somewhat of what a product manager does, right? So there is a product. The person basically manages the product, the features that should be on the product, the vision, the pricing, and all of that. Basically, that is how I can explain it for you to understand. Okay, but it is so much more than that. Beyond that is the product market fit, beyond that is the business case, beyond that is the whole lot of documentation you would need to do. Christ, product management is quite attractive. They'll be like, oh, you determine what needs to be done. You're building solutions. Basically, you're solving problems. That's interesting. That is theoretical. The real part of it that people never talk about is the amount of documentations you would have to write just because you're building a solution. The amount of documentation, guys, it's a lot. And that's it. Now I'm thinking about it. Probably I should interview some of my friends, right, who are into this thing. It would be an interesting video. But if you want that, let me know in the comment section. Nobody talks about the amount of documentation. As a user, at some point you're like, can I skip the user stories or just and just write the definition, the acceptance criteria and definition of done, right? So you're going to be doing a lot of documentation, the business case, because you're going to be relating to business units. You have your product requirements, your technical requirements, the ones you use to communicate to your developers majorly. You would be doing process flow, like, so I've talked about login, thought about how would the user log in, are they providing their username and password, what should the password, so you see that you want to sign up and your password will tell you you require 8 characters, which should be 10 or two uppercase, this lowercase should contain a character, and all of that. Somebody sat down, thought about that requirement and wrote it. That is a product manager slash product owner. I'm using both of them because depending on the company you work with, all right, you most likely be doing the two. They are very well interrelated. Product owner is part of the Scrum team. Product manager in some companies, the product owner reports to the product manager. So it really depends, right? Yeah. So basically, that is what you do. Now, a lot of companies do not require you to have technical knowledge, right? To have technical expertise. But there are some who the first requirement you see is software. You must have been a software developer, studied computer engineering, right? Some require you to just have an understanding, a technical understanding of maybe how APIs work or how whatever product you're going to be managing works, technical details. But starting out, yeah, you would find jobs that do not require you to have technical experience. What they require from you is to be able to communicate, because you're going to be doing a lot of talking. At some point, you even be tired. You would need to be convincing people. You need to be prioritizing what needs to be done. Everybody will be dragging you that, no, let's do this feature, we'll bring money, let's do this. You need to stamp your foot and say, you know what? Yeah, we're doing this now, we'll take that later. However, most times your decisions are being managed by management, right? At the end of the day, they have the final say. But yeah, let's just pretend like you do. So that's it with product management. The better your technical knowledge, however, the more you're able to interact with your software developers, the less they are able to bobo you, right? The less they are able to lie to you about the amount of work that needs to be done. But it is something you can learn on the job. It is something that over time you understand what you're saying, and you know when they are boboing you, and you know when to just let that bobo slide, and when to be like, come on guys, we're not here to play. Okay, so that's it for product management. So you do not really require, you can take a lot of courses. There is product dive, which is like number one in Nigeria. A lot of people, even professional, like people who are experienced, do product dive. And they take the course. You can join WhatsApp, Slack channels. They post jobs there. When you're done, you could do a mini project, boss people on LinkedIn, and you get okay. I know somebody who's done that, and she got an internship, moved to full employment, and all of that, and she's doing great things today. It's not easy to break into. It feels saturated, but I think it's a rewarding career. It could be tiring, but it is quite rewarding. Yeah, so that's it for product management. Next on my list would be user research and user interface designer, whatever we call them, UI UX, right? But we all know that it goes beyond just UI, right? The user interface, it goes beyond. So they do a lot of stuff, right? I know maybe you've heard about Figma, you've heard about design workflows, you've heard about okay, so let me use WhatsApp for example. There's someone who decided that who looked at whatever the product manager has written and decided a login button should be here, this should be here. I don't know if you get. So something I didn't mention about the product manager is that you also do post launch analysis. So you have KPIs on your product that you're tracking to ensure that your product is doing well in the market. I don't know if you get. You're tracking your enrollment, your active users, and all of that. So there are metrics that you are tracking. All right. So yeah. So for UI UX is more of, I want to see, is more is it's science and an art, right? It's not as easy as it or it seems, but granular level, what a lot of people actually do is just the interface, right? So you see your WhatsApp, you have a process flow, you've designed login button should be here and login button should be this color. This is what the landing page would look like. When people log in, this is what they would see, right? The arrangement, the look and feel of that platform, right? Yeah, that is what they do. But that is not the only thing that they do. That is just the commonest thing you would find. A lot of people say, I'm a UI, I'm into you. Okay, yeah, we hear you. Yeah. So, to a very large extent, this does not require you to know how to code. However, in recent times, I have seen where people request that they want um, UI guys who can convert whatever they've designed into HTML. Yes, I've heard of that recently. And sometimes I tell people and they're like, you want a UI UX person that can code? Yeah. Yeah. So if you have a front end engineer, a front end person, right? The person would most likely do that conversion. But sometimes some people want a UI person that can do that conversion. I don't think it's a common requirement. Like, yeah, I don't think it's a common one. Starting out, you really do not need to know how to code. So basically, you're ensuring that the experience of the user on the platform is optimal, is seamless. All right, that is what the person is doing. Speaking to users to understand their drop off points and all of that. Redesigning it to ensure like the platform is optimized in terms of the look, the feel, the flow. Yeah, so you get things like graphic designer, web designer, UI, UX, UI researcher or UX researcher. I don't know. Yeah, so something around that is what you would see. It's a very um, high in demand skill, right? And it also feels sort of saturated. Yeah, it also feels sort of saturated. But the thing is that if you're good, you're good. And why I love these people is that they can check up multiple roles. Like they can work in multiple organizations because it's more of a design thing, right? And sometimes when they take up these roles, they have people who sort of work under them and they just pay those guys and those guys design. So you can easily, I feel like it's easier to get experience in something like that because you can easily build a portfolio, right, for yourself. Yeah, like you can think about the thought process. I wish I could show you someone's portfolio, but yeah, I have an opportunity to see. I have a lot of friends. I think in the tech world, these are the guys who are mostly my friends. Yeah, the design guys. I have a lot of them, male and female. So their portfolio, you see their thinking process down to all the interviews, research interviews they've done, and how and the final look and feel of the platform they are designing. Okay, so there's research, there is design, right? All up in it. Because you won't just design for the sake of design. I don't know if you get. Depending on the organization you're working with and depending on the team. Okay. So basically what you research, what you interact with on the app is what they design. Now there are tools that they use that you need to learn how to use. And there are certain skills that are non-negotiable as a UI UX person. One is research. Next would be communication. There's research and analytics. There's communication, and you need to know how to use the tools that are required. Take for instance, Figma is like number one everybody starts with. Okay, so there's Figma. You see Sketch D. I'm not too sure, but I know I've come across something like that. Or Adobe Illustrator. There are a lot of them, but I think basically most people want to start with Figma, right? Which is like a design interaction kind of tool. Yeah. There are so many courses you can take. So if you're looking to go into this, you think you're creative, you think do well with art and all of that, you might want to consider this. There are so many parts to this. So they have people who are just UI, you have the UI UX guys, you have the UX researchers, you have web designers, you have video or illustrators, you have graphic designers as well. So depending on the company and depending on what they are building, right, there goes your there goes the need, the company's need for you. So learn those tools, take courses, do a bit of here and there, and build your portfolio. So when you're applying with your portfolio. Yeah, and yeah, it's something that actually they pay well. I don't know, I feel like they have the luxury of doing multiple jobs, like multiple roles, and everybody's fine, like just contract based role. And I do not think I know of any UI UX person who is not doing a side gig. I don't know. Because I don't see why wouldn't you be doing a side gig, right? Yeah, so that's number two. right? So now the product manager and the UI UX person work closely. At least on my team, I work pretty close with the UI UX person because you have to be delivering what I'm thinking in my head, and we need to rub minds to ensure that we are providing the interaction on the platform is not so right. It's optimal. Like we're providing excellence basically. Okay, of course. We want to do wonderful stuff. I feel like this video is so serious and it shouldn't be serious. I don't know. Anyway, so we've talked about product management. We've talked about UI UX, right? The next on my list will be business analysts. These guys. So in certain companies, you will find them and you will find product owners and product managers, right? So business analysts, call them BAs, right? They mostly are involved in process design and system management, the flows. They are also involved in a lot of documentation of these processes, right? As is and as it should be. Basically, they do a lot of documentation, right? Throughout flows, basically steps being taken to complete a process, and then they describe that process. So the major tool for BAs or process re-engineering, as you will have it, is the flow diagrams. Like you do a lot of it. So you have the universal modeling language, which basically helps designers, developers to visualize the high level structure of what needs to be done. Basically, visualize the high level structure of the application, right, and ensure it's meeting user needs. You also have the use case diagram. As a BA, you should be able to communicate, right? Because if you're doing process for engineering, or if you're doing anything, you want to interview. Most times, you interview people to find out um, their processes. You want them to describe their process. You want to document their process, right? The flow, how it will go, right? And likely put an as is and as it should be. Meaning this is what we do today. Probably it's a manual process, and this is how it should be given automation. All right. I would like to reiterate that this changes from company to company. Like, what is obtainable? So I might describe this and it's obtainable in company A. It might not be the exact description of a BA in another company, but there will be the underlying factor, right? There's that underlying part. So I would advise you to make your own findings, right? Do more research about these things. Take a course on Udemy, on Coursera. Basically, I wish I could hang this thing somewhere. It just seems weird holding it. Anyway, basically, what you want to do is you want to take a course. You want to often understand. It could be a 5 minute course, free courses, just to understand what this role is even talking about. Is it something you're interested in? Is it something you want to delve into? And all of that. Yeah, and it's also important to have a project management skill for as a BA. Okay, so I want to talk about project manager and scrum master. So I'm putting these two together, right? Because you could be either and still be a TECH SIS. What does a scrum master do? A scrum master basically ensures that the entire scrum team is following agile principles, right? Basically keeps the team on track using by implementing agile and scrum principles. Now this is a very high level definition of that role. Project manager, you're ensuring that the team is basically meeting milestones as they've promised, right? So ensuring that projects are delivered on time and within the budget, and are also, of course, quality. That's what you're doing. So sometimes there's kind of a blurry line between the scrum master, project manager, and product manager. You find out that in some organizations they have all three of them, including a PA. In some, you will just find the product owner and the scrum master on the team without the project manager. But then there's always somebody who is responsible, sort of, for pursuing people for for timelines and hitting milestones, or the the product manager will be responsible for that as well, right? So that is just sort of a high level definition. So there is agile and there's scrum. Scrum is just a technique for implementing agile, and there's a scrum team. The scrum team is made up of the scrum master, the product owner, and the developers, right? Developers we know, right? Product owner, prioritizes the backlog. Backlog simply refers to a list of items that needs to be done, right? That Scrum Master, ensuring that everybody is following the Scrum principles as you have it. That's a very loose definition. Now, for this role, you work with the developers. It's always nice to have to understand what the developers are saying. So you having an idea, a technical knowledge helps. However, most people would not be looking at whether you have the technical knowledge, especially for project management and a Scrum Master. Most people don't look at how you have the technical knowledge because you could easily learn on the job. Easiest thing to do for most of this is to learn on the job, really. So, there are professional courses for this. Google has a project management course that is also free. Scrum Master, there's a Scrum Master course as well. I think I'll try to leave some of these courses, the link to these courses in the description. I hope I did not forget. God. But yeah, there's a free course as well on the whole Scrum Master thingy. There are also a lot of articles out there. I would always recommend do a 5 minute course, do a very short course, just get the general idea of what these things are all about. Okay. I'm moving on. So the next one, last but not the least, would be data analyst. Or basically, what data analysis simply means for you to collect data, analyze that data, and probably provide insights. So collect, analyze, interpret, and visualize the data. Right. That is what the entire thing of data analyst, data this, data that. So it's important to note, however, that while analysis can be done with Excel, at a long run, yeah, in fact, not a long run, a very short run in your career, you need to know SQL, how to use SQL. You need at some point Python, you need R, right? You need all of this at some point in your career and in the nearest future. A data analyst that doesn't know how to use SQL, I do not know how that works because you'll be doing a lot of analysis, and I'm sure there are various other analytical software out there that you could use, say maybe SPSS and all of that. So yeah, but if you check online, you would see at least knowledge of Python. These are programming languages as well. So I see um a lot of videos out there that will say, "Oh, you don't need to know how to code to be a data analyst." And I'm like, maybe at an entry level, you do not need to know so much, but you need to have an idea. Check it online, SQL, Python, R, and all of that. You need to have an idea of how to use how to write a script. You might not necessarily know how to code per se, but how to write an SQL script to analyze your data, you need to. I am not sure if you can start your career as a I am doing data visualization just like that. I think most people rather you analyze and visualize the data. So to a very large to an extent, right, while you can analyze with SQL, you need to run some queries using while you can analyze with Excel, you need to run some queries using SQL, right? So you need to know how to write a script. You need to be able to um, write script to execute or give you analyze your data and give you the information that you require. Okay, I think a lot of people miss that in their videos. So
Like
we've
I
talked
said,
about some of the tools you need, but for the skill, you need to be able to, of course, collect data, analyze. So you need critical thinking, right? To because you'll be doing a lot of brain work. It's one thing to analyze data, it's one thing to interpret what you have analyzed. So your critical thinking cap, your problem solving skills, wear like this on your head, right? There's a part of data interpretation, there's part of creativity. So most non no code tech jobs would require you to have problem solving skills. Okay. Now the more technical you are, the easier it is to even solve these problems, especially if you're looking at things like product management and some of that, right? So the more technical you are, the easier it is. Except of course, it's a business problem. So that's basically it. So while you do not need to know how to code, to a very large extent, you require some level of technical skills. That's why you see certain people who start learning how data structure works, how API works, right? And all of those things. So maybe not so important, but it helps in your career. At some point, um, you cannot just afford not to understand some technical things. But yeah, so trying to break into tech, trying to key yourself into tech, whatever it is, these are things you can delve into, and you do not require, it will not require you to code, even at a very large extent later on in your career, it will not require you to code. And I hear a lot of people say, maybe you want to know which one pays better than the other. In all truth and in all sincerity, yes, there are some that maybe you would say higher earning, but at an entry level and over the course of your career, would always depend on the first gig you get, how swiftly you're moving jobs, right? Because yeah, they're data analysts with a lot of experience, and maybe they're on this level, and then you have product managers who are on a different level, bigger company, more money, right? But generally speaking, is there money in tech? Well, there is, but yeah, there is, yeah. There is, because yeah, there's money in tech, but there's a lot of work, a lot of brain work. It can be draining, it can be tiring, and sometimes breaking in is so difficult. Nobody wants to give you the opportunity. They want you to have done something, which is why you need to join. I don't know about boot camps really, but you need to maybe do a project for your own. If you're going to data analysis, know data analysis, know how to use Excel. Even as a product manager, some are required to know how to use Excel. And the thing about all of these roles is that they are entwined, right? So as a product manager, you could wake up one day and decide, you know what, I want to learn UI, right? I want to be able to do a bit of editing on my own and all of that. Or I want to learn data analysis. I don't want to always have to wait for data analysts to analyze, right? Which is important for you, helps you, right? So you're like, okay, a bit of Excel analysis will do, or how to write SQL queries and all of that. So yeah, that's it. Okay. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope this helps someone out there who is looking to break into tech or fall into tech. Okay. The salary is rewarding, just like almost any other role, really. Because come to think about it, you know how much investment bankers also make. Okay. So it's a rewarding career, right? And a lot of people have done and have broken into it without experience as well. So why not you? Like I said, take courses. I'll leave link to some of these courses in the description box that you can easily look out for. If you do have questions, please do let me know in the comment section. I would be answering your questions. And yes, I think I'll do a video. If you want me to do a video, maybe featuring some of my friends who are currently experts, or who are in doing some of these things, let me know in the comment section, right? So say I bring a data analyst, I'm a product manager, but I won't bring myself, I'll bring somebody else. Right? A product manager, a scrum master. I have a scrum master friend. Do I have a BA as a friend? I don't think so, off the top of my head, no. But yeah, every other thing, project management, I my girls are killing it. My guys are killing it. I have male and female friends alike. So yeah, my light is back. So just let me know in the comment section if you want to see a video like that and what you would like me to ask them specifically. Right. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming onto my channel. Thank you so much for watching out to this level. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please click on the subscribe button, which is somewhere below. It's a red button, and give this video a thumbs up, share to your friends, leave a comment in the comment section. And I am your girl, Chiamaka Okewu, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now, guys.